Hello friends, welcome back to Vlogmas week 2. So we are starting off our morning cuddling with Marley. She's so cute and sweet, and John is gone away at this time, so she's very sad. I try to spend lots of extra time and give her lots of love when John's gone because I know it bothers her so much, but she was being so sweet this morning. So I had a ton that I wanted to get done on this day. So I went downstairs to get my coffee, but first I took out some sticks of butter for making cookies because I really want to get started on that. I always say that and then it's like the week of Christmas and I'm baking cookies, but I really don't want to have to do that this year. So I took out my butter to let it soften. The vegan butter takes like even longer to soften, so I wanted to get it out first thing. And then I'm having my coffee. So then I took my coffee and went straight upstairs into my office, or like second bedroom. And I wanted to get a bunch of things listed to Etsy. So while I was doing that, I was watching, of course, a Hallmark Christmas movie. And this one, I mean, I feel like they're all kind of the same, like small town, shop owner, some variety. This one, however, it's called A Holiday Spectacular. And I think it's new this year, 2022. But it takes place in the 1950s in New York City. This girl wants to become a rockette, and I loved it so much. I think it was really, really good. It definitely still had that same like Hallmark Christmas movie cheesiness to it, but it was just like a different enough story that it was interesting. And then obviously it takes place in the 1950s, so that was a twist. So I'm definitely like, I have a little list that I keep of Hallmark movies that I could watch like again, which is, it doesn't happen very often, but there are some that's like, you know, I could watch that again. So, but it's hard to find them again if you don't write them down, because if you even reading the descriptions, they all kind of tend to meld together. But I know some of you have also expressed that you like watching them, especially like in the background. So I wanted to recommend that one, A Holiday Spectacular. So I was getting ready to list these plates, but the more I looked at them, the more I just really, really like them. I love the little design of like the holly and berries, but then also the pine cones. So I was like, should I keep these? I don't know. I haven't listed them still, so I maybe might keep them. I especially like the one kind of with the little handles. I think it's supposed to be like a cake plate, but then this other plate matches. So I was like thinking about listing them together, but then the more I looked at them, the more I kind of liked them, and I thought, well, these kind of match like the same kind of theme as my dishes, so how cute would that be? I don't know. Anyway, for lunch I just had something really easy. I had made like tofu egg salad, I think the day before. I had some homemade vegetable dip. I was just having some carrots and cucumber. It was delicious. So after that, I decided to wrap presents, so it was done. We don't actually like give gifts to anyone except each other. We don't let other people give us gifts. It's honestly like my least favorite part about Christmas, and it took years, but finally I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, don't buy us anything. I'm done with it. So, and I've enjoyed Christmas tremendously since doing that quite a few years ago. So while I was doing that, of course, I watched another Christmas movie. This one I'm also going to recommend. It's called Journey Back to Christmas. And this also takes place, I think it's like originally set in the 1940s, but it's like a woman who time travels. I don't know when this one would have come out, but it has Candace Cameron in it. So I don't think she works with Hallmark anymore, from what I understand. So it's probably not new this year, but I liked this one as well, and I would recommend it. I would probably watch it again. So by the time the movie was over, or maybe even before, I had all of the presents wrapped, which I'm very happy about. I'm just waiting for one thing to come in the mail, but I'm actually putting that thing in a bag. So it's fairly easy. Marley was chilling with me like the entire day, just in the office, which is so cute. And I've got a couple of other bags there. So after that, I just carried everything downstairs and put it under the tree. And then my butter was softened enough by this point, because obviously I'd watched like 2 movies. So then I was getting started on that. So on this day, I was making shortbread cookies and sugar cookies, or as John likes to call them, Christmas cookies. These are John's favorite like cookie at Christmas, which I didn't even know until, I mean, I've known for a few years, but I feel like we were together for years and I didn't know. But that's the kind of cookie that John's mom would always make when they were growing up. So I always make them every year now. But what I've been doing is just making the cookies, or the cookie dough, and then just freezing the dough. So we can just pull out however many we want at a time, because it's just the 2 of us. I used to make cookies and like deliver them to people where we used to live, but we don't really know anybody here. Like all of our friends live back where we used to live, so I'm not doing that this year. So after I got the cookies dealt with, I was debating on whether or not I was going to put a Christmas tree up in the basement or not. This is like our old tree. I was going back and forth, and then I just decided to do it, because then if we wanted to watch a movie in the basement, it would be Christmassy. So while I'm doing that, I'm watching Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas special from 2020, which I really like. It's super festive. I love that because Apple owns the rights to like the Peanuts franchise. Like the Peanuts characters were able to be in it. It was super cute. Little moment with Woodstock. I wish that they had more Christmas specials on TV like they used to. Like this kind of reminds me of the kind of specials they would have like way back in the day. Like I watch a lot of them from like the 50s and 60s and 70s, but I feel like it kind of started fizzling out maybe near the end of the 70s, but Bing Crosby has a lot of good ones. But you'll probably hear me talk a lot about them over the course of Vlogmas, because I watch a lot of them every year. Also, I think I have a playlist on my channel with like old Christmas specials as well that's public, so other people can watch if they want. Here is the tray that I made a few years ago. I'm pretty sure that video's in my Christmas playlist, but I just used like old cards and stuff. And we have these pillow covers down here, and then of course the tree. Marley just follows me wherever I go. She's so cute. She's like, okay, I guess we're in the basement now. Let me just lay here. I also had thrown a load of laundry in the washer while I was down there decorating the tree, so that was ready to be hung up. So I did that after I was done, and then I was making myself a drink. This is like my favorite drink to have in the holidays. Just use holiday nog, or you could use eggnog, and then this mint Kahlua. I'm not sure if they make this or not, because it's, if they still make it, because it's from last year. And then I do some type of candy cane or peppermint vodka. I know the Smirnoff candy cane vodka came out again this year, at least in Canada, and it's just really good. It's sort of like a White Russian vibe, but it's like mint and eggnog. It's very good, but it's like pretty sweet, I guess, so I wouldn't be able to have like more than maybe a couple. And I'm using it in my like new glass that I found this year. It looks so cute. So then I went back upstairs. It was like getting time to watch a movie, and so I took my drink up there, and while we were watching a movie, I wanted to make some wreaths. So I've made in the past, there's a video on my channel of like these ornament wreaths made from vintage glass ornaments, which are amazing but very delicate. I love that I made them and I can enjoy those ornaments, but they're very delicate. It's like scary. Anyway, so I wanted to do a version made of plastic ones, because I had this big, huge tote full of plastic ornaments, and I thought, well, let me just do something with these, or I'm going to donate them. And I had found these 2 elves thrifting at some point this year, so that's what we're doing. And we're actually watching, it's like a new series on Disney Plus called the Santa Clauses. We had just watched the Santa Claus movies, like the trilogy, so then we decided to watch some of those. Marley was like playing with an ornament, but I swear she knows when I'm filming her because then she stopped. But it was so cute. Like one had fell on the floor and she swiped it and she was going crazy with it. But by the time I started filming, of course, she was like, I'm not doing anything. But it was really cute. I think I even threw one down on the floor to see if she would do it again, but she was over it at that point. So I finished both wreaths. I think they turned out really good. My plan was to hang like one on either side of this photo. Now I just hung them on the hooks that were already on the wall, but I moved, like, I didn't do it in this video, but I have since moved them down some, so it looks a little better, just more centered. But I just for the purpose of this, seeing what they look like, I just hung them on the ones that were already there. But I really like the way that they turned out, and it ended up using up like most of the ornaments. I'm just donating the rest because I don't have a use for them. I feel like unless you get really close to the wreaths, you can't even tell that they're plastic ornaments and not glass, which is cool because they'll be way easier to store because they're made of plastic. So again, starting the morning out with little Miss Marley. She's so cute, especially in this shot where her head's almost like upside down, but her one eye is open looking at me like, hi. She's so sweet. She's like this, she is the like sweetest cat in the whole world. Just, love her so much. So John had come over because he needed to like mail out packages. So he'll come over, but on his way, if I need anything, he will go to the grocery store and pick it up. So we needed some toilet paper. We love this bamboo stuff. And then I don't know if I end up showing you. Yeah, I think I do end up showing you what he bought, which wasn't a ton of stuff, just a few things, mostly produce, I think. But he got this box of Kleenex, which was handy. John like goes through Kleenex like crazy. Yeah, so we got this thing of spinach for me. Oh, I'm remembering now. I think I made like mushroom pasta. And then he found this oat nog, which is actually my favorite. I think I just discovered it last year. I kind of like mixing the oat nog and the coconut nog. Needed some more coffee cream, and then I also wanted some more of the mocha coffee cream. I also needed some more butter sticks because I had used up, I think, everything that we had here. Yeah, so I'm making my mushroom pasta. This is like one of my favorite things, but John doesn't like mushrooms, so whenever John's not here, it's like the perfect time to make it. And I love putting a ton of spinach in it. I'm just having this bean pasta. It's actually chickpea pasta. It's so good. I think I've shown this before in Days of My Life or vlogs, but it's one of my favorite pastas ever. In fact, just looking at this footage like makes me want to make it again, but I don't think I have all the ingredients to make it, which makes me sad. But yeah, super good. And just kind of make it all in one pot and then just add your pasta. Super easy. And I just grated some like vegan parm over top. So then I also did some food prep and kind of cleaned the fridge as well on this day. So I prepped up a bunch of raw veggies to have with like hummus and dip. And then I also made my salads. I pretty much eat a big salad every day, at least like one, sometimes two. So I usually do like 2 to 3 days ahead of time, just make it easier, like convenience wise. And then the pasta makes like 2 portions, so I had another portion for the next day. And then I wanted to make some like breaded tofu to cut up and put on my salad as like extra protein. I usually put beans in my salad too, but I was craving some tofu, so I took a while to do that. I did like 2 full blocks, so I would have plenty to last me for quite some time. And then it was movie time, or it might not have been movie time right after that, but the movie we were watching tonight was The Grinch, the Jim Carrey like live action version from I think the year 2000. This one gives me so much nostalgia because I think when this movie came out, I was living with my dad, and I have a younger sister I'm like 8 years older than her, so there's quite a big age difference. But I remember us watching it together, and she was just still in elementary school. John and I were saying how this there could have been nobody else that could have played the Grinch character other than Jim Carrey. Like, he was just so perfect in that role. And when the movie was over, I looked over and Marley was like still in her same position as before the movie started. She was just like melted into the back of the couch. It was so cute. So it's another day, another wreath making. So I had used up all of the big ornaments, but then I had a whole bunch of smaller ones that were all kind of different shades of blue, and then I had some white and some gold. So I thought that would work well together. So I thought I would make kind of like a smaller ring, because I had, I think, 3 different sizes of wreath forms. So I went ahead and did that. I'm not sure if I was watching anything or not. And I did end up using all of the bells, but I didn't have enough to finish it, so I need to get some more smaller ones to kind of fill in so it's complete. And I do have this big box of old light bulbs, like for outdoor use, that I'm going to turn into a wreath. I'm gonna like actually make a video, I think, about that. I'm not sure when it's going to go up or not, but I was I'm gonna make more than one, so I think I was like practicing on this version. And I've been cleaning out my like Christmas craft stuff, figuring out like what I'm going to use, what not. Sometimes I use old cards for things, but I found this card that like a coworker had given me a couple of years ago, and I just thought it was so funny because it's so accurate. Like, I'm the most crazy organized person ever. So then I was having a big salad with my tofu that I had made the day before, which was so good. I'm so glad I took the time to do all of that. And then I have this piece of old Pyrex that I've been terrified to try to clean, but I really wanted to try it, but I was terrified. But so I spent a lot of time online looking different ways up to like safely clean it. And because it was quite like marked up, so I wanted to see if I could make it better. It definitely did work. It didn't come 100% clean, but I used baking soda and water and a magic eraser. But I was like very gentle with my cleaning because I was so scared, because it's really old. I think it's from like the 1960s. So then John came over first thing in the morning this day. I made us breakfast, and then we were going out on one of our thrifting trips. We pretty much do this every weekend. This is the view from the thrift store. I just wanted to show that. And then we stopped on our way back to check on the dogs that John is taking care of. That's where he is. He's like a dog sitter, just as like a side thing. These dogs were super cute. I believe they are golden doodles. But they were super cute. They were very like high energy and excited when I was there, though, because it was like a new person. So, but they love playing with sticks. Like, when John lets them out to use the bathroom, they just run to their sticks and like run around with sticks for a long time before they use the bathroom. So we just went to 2 stores on this day, but we had a lot of good luck, which was really nice. We see all those bags are just filled with clothes for reselling. And I actually found some clothing too, though, for myself, which I usually don't. I just have like a different mindset when I'm looking for clothing to resell. But I saw this sweater that it's not vintage, but like it has that kind of vintage feel to it. And I just loved it a lot. I thought it would look really cute over like a vintage inspired dress or something. So I just had to get it. So I was like, well, if I don't end up liking it or wearing it, we can always sell it, because I'm sure something like that wouldn't take too long to sell. I'm still shocked at how profitable it is to resell clothing. Like, it's insane. It blows my mind almost daily. So on our way, after we checked on the dogs, before we went home, we stopped at the grocery store to get a few things. John needed some things and I needed some things. So I guess maybe I show all of this to you. Yeah, I guess so. So John got some soup and some of this ramen for himself and some wraps. I made him like some buffalo chickpea spread, which is really good for him to have like easy like lunch option. And then we found this dill pickle hummus, which I'd never heard of before, but it ended up being so good. So he took that with him. And then he also had some raspberries he wanted to have as a snack. And then I was super excited. I found this like Pepperidge Farm stuffing mix that was like safe for us to eat. Well, I had actually found some gluten-free stuffing in a box like a few weeks ago that I picked up, so that's what I'm gonna have, but I got that to make for John. It's just the two of us, so making everything from scratch isn't exactly like how I want to spend my time during the holidays. So we got a couple of these sausages that we like. They were on clearance. And then I got some blue cheese dressing. I found my favorite peanut butter on 50% off. I almost never get it because, as you can see, it's $8 for a small thing of peanut butter, but it's like coconut flavored peanut butter and it's so good. It's been years since I had it, but when I saw that 50% off, I was like, I need to get this. And I've already had some of it on a slice of toast and it's so comforting. I also found this vegan mac and cheese by this brand Annie's. Every single time I see the Annie's mac and cheese in the store, I've like for years I've been like, why don't they have the vegan version ever? And then John was like, oh, they have the vegan mac there, so I had to get that. I was super excited. I've had it before, but they never, like, I've had to order it online. So just got a few other things. Some falafel was on sale, so we got that to put in the freezer for like a quick meal. And then I got a bunch of more like produce for salad. So I love this kale slaw, it's so good. I usually get like 3 salads out of one bag of that because I add like lettuce and stuff to it and also cabbage. I had to try this dill pickle hummus and it was so good. John actually really liked it too. So I just took from my big vegetable tray there, I just made a little smaller version for John to take over with him to have with his hummus. And then we were out all day thrifting, so we were starving. So I made us each a salad with some of my like breaded tofu on it, and John really, really liked it as well. So that was nice. So then John had to go back over where he was staying, and then I decided, since I had got some new clothing that I had been washing, to kind of tidy and pull a few things out of the closet. I usually really stick with, like, before I buy something, like I'm already thinking of something at home that I could get rid of, just so that it doesn't get overwhelming. And then I was thinking about cleaning out the vanity as well, because I know I have stuff in there that I don't really use or need. And while I was doing that, for some background noise, I kept seeing ads for this thing on my Roku called Pluto TV, and it said that it was free, so eventually I caved in and downloaded the app. And it's actually really amazing. They have a ton of channels and a lot of ones with like classic TV shows where they just play that like 24/7. So one of them was 90210, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I turned that on, and the show was popular when I was like in school. So I watched it then. And I think about 10 years ago, I watched the series from start to finish, but I turned it on as like background noise. So it was on for a couple of hours, and then now I'm like fully invested back into the storylines. And I have a bunch of the DVDs of the show, so I'm thinking maybe after Christmas I might just start watching it from start to finish as like my kind of background noise that's on. But they have a whole bunch of different, one of them is Family Ties, so they just play Family Ties like 24/7. I can't believe this is free either. They have Taxi is another one. I really, really want to watch that show from start to finish. But yeah, so I was very into that. The other night I couldn't sleep, and I was like, oh, I should just turn the TV on. So I couldn't get back to sleep, so I ended up watching like 4 hours of just 90210 laying in bed with Marley. So here we are, another day, another waking up with Marley. I think this is the night that I was up for like hours, so by the time it was like just regular morning time, I was already starving, so I made something to eat. And then I'm showing you what I got the day before at the dollar store that's Christmas. I found this really cute wrapping paper that has like little kind of vintage style campers on it. We don't even really need wrapping paper, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is too cute. We should get this to have. And then sometimes if we're just having like some snacks, I like having paper plates. And I saw these Grinch plates that I thought were really cute. I thought maybe we should get them because we didn't actually have any paper plates for this year. There's only like, I think 8 in each. So that will probably be more than enough for the 2 of us for this year. And we'll probably have some left over for next year. So I feel like I might have manifested this a little. I had just been talking about these. I didn't know that they still made them, but they're, I don't even know what they're called exactly, but we had these in my house a lot when I was growing up. They're like made from like a metallic type of material, and they stretch out, make these kind of accordion style. I don't know. Anyway, I had just been talking about them, saying I wish they still made these because I didn't know that they did. So I saw them at the dollar store. I was like, I have to get these. I might hang one up in the basement, I think. And then I found these candy canes. I was looking for a certain type for doing my grandma's tree, but I just couldn't find them. And then I saw those and I thought, oh, well, this is kind of similar enough. So I picked up 2 of those. That video is already up, I think, by the time you're seeing this one. And then I picked up some bells to finish that wreath. I didn't actually realize they were glass, which sounds ridiculous because there's a huge like glass thing on the very front of it in yellow. I don't know. But I found some gold ones and some blue ones, so it was perfect. And then I also needed to get some glue and some glitter and some paintbrushes for the light bulb wreath project. So got that. I was happy to find this big thing of glitter. And then I also saw they had a couple more decorative tissue boxes. So I got a couple more of those. I really like this one with the deer. So I was all gung-ho to get started on the wreath thing. So I sorted all of the light bulbs, which took a while, and actually have a lot, like even more than I thought. And I'm just gonna add glitter to that part. So, and obviously this is like a bit of a tedious thing. So it took a while to do. I've just paint the glue on with a paintbrush, so it's like a thin layer, so it's not too thick. And then I had these like plastic trays that bells had come in, so it worked out perfect that I could sort of sort them all together. But then once I did them, I'd flip them upside down. So I got about half done, and then since it was the weekend, we were watching a movie during the day, so we decided to watch Home Alone. So while we were watching Home Alone, I was able to finish the rest of them. I hadn't watched Home Alone in like, I think 3 or 4 years. So I find I can only watch this movie like every few years, not every year. I don't know. It's good, but it's like kind of, it's not exactly my favorite type of movie. It has some nostalgic value, which is why I think I like it as much as I do, but I find it overall fairly cheesy. But Marley was hanging out with me while I was doing all this. So after we got done watching that movie, it's like Santa's workshop up in my office, I swear. So I had bought these, I don't know, I guess they're vintage because they're probably from like the 1980s. They're from like a department store called Woolworths. Anyway, I've had them just like new in the package forever. They were super inexpensive. I didn't know what to do with them, but I decided to just open them up, and instead of keeping it's just like a sticker on them, which was put on very horribly. So I have this vintage like felted ribbon. I was like, you know what? I should use this ribbon because another thing I've just had forever. Don't know what to do with. So I was like, I should just use this ribbon and recover the candy canes. And then I have these bigger candy canes that have this ribbon on them as well, but it's very poorly done. So I thought I should just redo the ribbon on all of these candy canes. So Before I did that, I think, or maybe I was midway started, I was like, oh, I've got that box of mac and cheese down there, and that will be a perfect lunch for me, because I think I had already been up I think I had got up this day at like 2:30 in the morning, so I was like already having like a full day by lunch. So I made it. I actually had never had this specific variety of the vegan mac and cheese, and I swear it was identical to Kraft Dinner. Like the shapes of the pasta were exactly the same, which made me excited. I don't really follow the instructions on the box though. I like my Kraft Dinner a very specific way, and I just made that the same way, and it was so good. So it might be a nice occasional treat. So here is what the big ones looked like after I fixed them up. I think they look so much better, and just the felted ribbon kind of makes it, well, the ribbon itself is vintage, but it gives it even more of a vintage feel. So also since I had like my whole setup for crafting, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to repair ornaments. I have like a little box filled with ornaments that need repair, so I did that. But then since my cookie dough had been chilling overnight, or this might have been 2 days later, I decided it was time to roll it out and make my cookies. So I baked some of them, but some of them I put in the freezer, like on a pan, so they're frozen. That way at a later date I can pull them out and bake them, and they'll be fresh baked. So then it was time for a movie. We've pretty much been watching a movie every night at 7. So I made myself some popcorn. Marley was so excited because I was just sitting down in the living room. So we were watching Home Alone 2, of course. That made sense. This one I had actually only ever seen like one time before this, I think. I definitely feel like the first one is better, but the second one is tolerable as well. So yeah, it was nice to watch it because I had only seen it, I think, the one time before, so I didn't know exactly how, like, I remembered it, but not exactly how everything happened, I guess you could say. On this day, I also wanted to get a lot of stuff done, so I'm having a big salad for breakfast, and then I'm making some pizza dough, I'm making some regular dough, and some gluten-free. A few weeks ago I made, like, you make it ahead of time and then put it in the freezer. Then I also made some meals for John. It's like a kind of like faux lasagna. You just have little lasagna noodles. And then I also wanted to decorate the cookies because John, I think, was coming over that day, so I thought I would surprise him with the Christmas cookies, which he loved when he came over and saw that they were made. And I'm definitely not the greatest at decorating cookies at all, but you know, whatever. I've just come to accept that it is what it is. So, I mean, they're not like horrible, I guess, but like they're not exactly great either, at least not to me. I always feel like they'll look better than they end up coming out. And so John did come over that day, and I made us a pizza, and then I froze the rest of the dough. And the movie that we were watching on this night was Four Christmases. So I love this movie. I think it's so funny. We usually do watch this one every year because we both think it's really funny. And I was watching it up in the bedroom this night because I was still going through my closet a little bit. And so I thought I could do a little multitasking while I had the movie on. And on this day, I had also gotten an order from the Body Shop. I ordered from them on Black Friday, plus my birthday is in November, so I'm part of like their club or whatever, like rewards. I don't even remember what it's called, but during your birthday month, you get like a $10 coupon you could use. Plus I already had, just from like referral links, I guess. I don't remember, but I had money that I could spend, so every year they usually come out with like holiday scented things or like a new scent for the holidays, so I wanted to try that. So I got this set with both scents in it, and I gave one of the scents to John because it was more like masculine and he really liked the way it smelled, so it was like this pine one that I ended up giving to him. So yeah, I gave the pine one to him, and the one that I kept was spiced orange, but this set comes with just 2 miniature shower gels and then 2 small body butters. But because it was like Black Friday and I had all the money that I could apply to it, it ended up being like super, super cheap, which is always nice. And then, so I got that, and then I got the like body spray of each scent. I've been loving my little like half like tomato and cheese and lettuce sandwich on sourdough lately for breakfast. So then we've got a shot of me, the tree I recreated from my grandma's 1988 tree. I recorded a video for that and posted it on Tuesday, but I guess I'm just showing you a shot. I don't know if like I did this the night before or I did it that morning. I can't even remember, even though it was just a few days ago. Anyway, John came over because he needed to go like do a mail run again. So he came over like, and he had to wait for the post office to open. It didn't open until 1. So he went down and got us some fries. And they had this vegan gluten-free brownie, which was so good. I think it's the best brownie I've ever had in my life. But the other day when we were at the grocery store, I noticed a couple magazines actually. So there was this It's a Wonderful Life magazine and a Miracle on 34th Street magazine and a Lucille Ball magazine, just like an entire like life dedicated magazine. So this It's a Wonderful Life, I believe, is the reissue from last year, and then A Miracle on 34th Street is from this year. And anyway, I had told him about them, and then he went and bought them for me. And then he was like, well, I'm just going to give these to you now instead of giving them to you for Christmas, because that way, you know, you can read about them like during Christmas season. So it was really cool. Those are 2 of my favorite classic films. Well, It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite Christmas film ever. So that was really sweet of him. And he also brought me command hooks because I needed them to finish doing some decorating. So I decided to hang these candy canes out in the entryway. Previously, I had them where their wreaths were, so I wanted to hang. I basically just hang all that kind of stuff with command hooks. So, but I had like a huge mess because I haven't fully finished decorating yet because I was filming that tree video. Also, have not decorated the tier stand yet because I couldn't like figure out what to do with it. So I was like, today's the day. I am completely finishing everything and getting all of these boxes put away because it's driving me crazy. So I got the wreaths that I had to move down now that I had some more command hooks. And then I was decorating the tree. This is an ornament that I made when I was, I think, 6. And not that it's like spectacular or anything, but my mom, she kept it all that time. I didn't realize that she had kept it, but I found it when I was cleaning out her apartment, so I kept that. But yeah, I was decorating the tree like for us now that I had done the recreation video, so I was very excited to do that. As you can see, I have a ton of flocked ornaments. And as you can also see, I like a very full tree. I don't know, I have so many ornaments that I love, so I like to try and use them all. I didn't think that I would have enough room to put up the wooden ornaments, or I thought maybe I would just get some of them up, but I ended up getting all of them up, so there's that. I like to always put the Mr. and Mrs. Claus that were my grandparents right up at the very kind of top of the tree every year. And this year is my first year using garland on the tree. I was inspired to use it because my grandma had used it on her tree. back in 1988, but it ended up working out really nice because it kind of covered some of the sparse spots, because these branches are the most unruly branches I've ever dealt with. So also while I was decorating, I've got a little ornament hospital here that I need to repair these ornaments. A lot of them, they just don't have a hanger part, so I gotta glue something down. So those were to take up to my office, but now I'm like getting everything kind of situated, which is nice. I'll be able to take all these bins and boxes down. I did end up decorating the tiered tray, so I just put some garland down, and then I had this set of lights that I thought would look nice, and then I have these kind of vintage inspired, but they're just made of plastic. So I just thought, let me just kind of arrange something here. But I like the way it turned out. This is the view that I see from the kitchen, so it was nice. So I usually set the coffee every night, and instead of hitting delay brew, I hit brew. So I was coming up from the basement and I could smell coffee. I'm like, what is happening? So yep, brewed a pot of coffee at like 7 o'clock at night. Anyway, it was time for movies. I decided to watch in the living room because the tree was like all lit up and freshly decorated. Marley was having the time of her life, and we watched Christmas with the Cranks, which we had actually both never seen before. And it was okay. I didn't hate it. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but I don't know if it would make my like annual watch list. But while I was watching that, I just had a snack of some raw vegetables and some dip and hummus. Anyway, that is it for this week's Vlogmas. I can't believe we're already 2 weeks in. I feel like I was really just trying to get a lot of stuff done during this week because I like having more like free time and relaxing time the closer it gets to Christmas. So it was a lot of me like frantically trying to get things done, but that's okay. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.